So I was thinking the other day, well, wasn't really thinking, but I remembered that time capsules were a real thing. Because I was kind of like, wouldn't it be interesting if people took what some of the stuff we had right now and kind of like preserved it for people in the future to be able to see? And I was like, oh yeah, time capsules, duh. And then I was like, well, I wonder if anyone has actually done time capsules. And then I just searched up time capsules, and I mean, this video seems interesting, the title alone. So I was like, fuck it, let's watch it. And I'm also curious if like, I mean, there can't only be 10, right? This says top 10. So I'm curious, like, what other things have we found that were like buried a long time ago? And what have we not found that was buried a long time ago, you know? And like, once we do unearth everything that was buried, like, when are we currently like burying stuff, you know, for that, for the future to be able to dig up? Like, do we still do that? I don't know, man. Like, that sounds cool though, right? Putting stuff in the ground for people to dig up later and be like, whoa, this is crazy. That way, like if the internet goes out or something, or maybe if everything is erased and starting over, you know, you kind of just, yo, what if we like dug up something like a time capsule from before the dinosaurs? If they were like, yo, this is, well, how would you even know? Because there's no way to be like, oh, this is 1000 BC, because in our time, you know, it would be after the dinosaurs, but this would have been like way before. I don't know. I'm trying to say if something from a very, 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 very long time ago, like before dinosaur age, all that, if humans were like advanced and or like some kind of being was advanced and buried shit, and then like today we unearthed it, and it was like, wow, there was actually like intelligent life before prehistoric times, you know? Does that make sense? That would be wild, right? If we found out something like that. Because then it'd be kind of like humanity or like species kind of evolve all the way to this like crazy high level, and then something happens, maybe like like some kind of electromagnetic pulse throughout the galaxy goes off, and all electricity is shut off and like restarted, and you know, like we're in like a dark era per se. Per se, did I use that correctly? But yeah, you know, like would it like something like some Y2K shit? Didn't they say that was gonna happen? What if something like that actually happened? Type stuff. I don't know. I'm just rambling.
Well, that is not what we were expecting. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 craziest things found in time capsules. For this list, we're looking at the most shocking and surprising items ever uncovered in time.
Hold up. If it's like National Geographic and stuff, I feel like this might be fake, right? Because what are the odds that they're there? Then again, they would probably be digging for that purpose. But a time capsule, how do you know what you're digging up? I don't know. Maybe they're not fake.
Time capsules.
How would you even know where to dig for a time capsule?
Be sure to check out the full song at the link below.
Maybe you go to dig something up and then you find it and then you call someone up and you're like, yo, I found a time capsule.
Number 10, a whiskey bottle and a joke. In 2015, a time capsule was uncovered in the town of Lebanon, New Hampshire, that had been kept under the stairs of City Hall. It was from 1944, and it consisted mainly of a whiskey bottle.
1944?
However, the bottle held a note, which read, "Whoever finds this bottle may keep it. Sorry there is no liquor in it, but I drank it all up." The note was left by Samuel Stevens, who, as a historical footnote, had worked as a city surveyor.
That's a joke?
The capsule also
I guess.
old newspapers.
That's pretty funny.
But the decades-old joke was definitely the highlight. Number 9, a prediction about Mussolini. In 2016, while restoring Portland stone at Southampton Guildhall, masons uncovered a time capsule in what seemed to be an old lemonade bottle.
He should have wrote, hold up. I'm still kind of on that first one. Like, I feel like these people should write a little bit of something what's going on at the times, right? I'm curious to know what's going on there. Like, I mean, thanks for the bottle and thanks for the note saying here's an empty bottle, but you should have wrote something crazy like, so right now in our city, there's this wild thing going on. Like, you know, you should have wrote something that you would think would stand out. That way when people do find it, it's kind of like, holy shit, is this even, have we reported on this? You know, like, has anyone even figured this out, that this happened? You know, I don't know. Some kind of event.
Stone at Southampton Guildhall.
Like right now, someone can write on a little note, they can leave it in a whiskey bottle and be like, hey, sorry for the empty bottle, but by the way, North Korea just launched a intercontinental missile at Japan like yesterday. You know, because then it's kind of like, holy shit, that's kind of crazy. I mean, you know, it doesn't surprise me, but that's crazy.
For a time capsule in what seemed to be an old lemonade bottle. Inside was a note penciled on the back of a pack of cigarettes dating back to 1935, which read, 19th September 1935. Stanley Jeffrey.
1935?
Fred Pierce. Mussolini threatens war. The message seems ominous, but it appears to be referring to Mussolini's rejection of a peace treaty from the League of Nations.
See, maybe this is people like kind of being like, look, this is what's going on right now.
Joke was 2016 while restoring Portland stone.
This is the type of shit I'm talking about.
Masons uncovered a time capsule in what seemed to be an old lemonade bottle. Inside was a note penciled on the back of a pack of cigarettes dating back to 1935.
Penciled, how did it not rub off?
19th September 1935. Stanley Jeffrey, George Groves, Fred Pierce. Mussolini threatens war. The message seems ominous, but it appears to be referring to Mussolini's rejection of a peace treaty from the League of Nations, which took place shortly prior during the Abyssinia crisis. Eerie,
see,
yes, but
I feel like something with like this would be crazy, because imagine if like we were in a universe where somehow Mussolini got away with it and people look at him like, oh, he never, like, you know, like if he was some kind of perfect dude that was like really friendly and stuff, and then you unearth this and it's like, yo, he threatened war. It's like, oh shit, I don't know, that could change perspective. I don't know, I'm kind of just overthinking it too. This is all from like 70 years ago though. I'm talking like thousands of years. Like digging up a Egyptian something from Egypt times, you know?
The capsule, most
be crazy.
Contains a video which shows images from the groundbreaking ceremony for the Bar Treatment Center, which treated mental health conditions, as well as something a little more sinister.
Today marks the cornerstone laying ceremony of the Bar Treatment Center. This is a building that we have been working on for 2 years.
Though not all of the audio survived, there are mentions of electroshock therapy as well as an insulin shock therapy. And the missing bits of dialogue made it unclear exactly what was being said about them.
We hope that we'll be able to treat and improve many patients so they'll be able to go home from this building.
Dude.
Those who do not improve,
this is actually crazy though.
In this building may have to have some continued treatment in the other parts of the institution.
Let's just say treatment for mental health ailments.
Dude, I was about to say, yeah, I don't know what she's about to say, but treatment for mental health throughout time has been crazy, dude. They basically use mental patients as like test subjects for like all kinds of human experiments type stuff. It's what I've heard. You know, obviously there are people that do genuinely try to help probably, but for the most part, a lot of times it seems to be like they're science projects. And that's fucking scary, dude, because you can go in for something like ADHD, well, not obviously, probably not right now, but back then you would probably go in for something like ADHD, like just kind of like being really talkative or something, and your parents are like, yo, you need to calm down, like let's go to the doctor. And then the doctor's like, oh yeah, we can perform a lobotomy. And then it's like, yeah, sure, you know, we're kind of dumb, so they perform a lobotomy on that, and basically you scramble the brains, and then the kid is fucking brain dead. I mean, yeah, they're calm now, but they're also brain dead and not who they were. So it's kind of like mental hospitals are fucking scary, bro. Imagine getting stuck in one too. If you go in there because someone claims you're crazy and you're like, I'm not crazy. And then they're like, bro, you're crazy. And then they throw you in there and then you're like, I'm not crazy. And they're like, you saying that you're not crazy makes you crazy. And you're like, get me out of here. I don't know. That would be like a nightmare, right? How do you prove you're not crazy? I mean, then I'm sure there's ways to, but what if you couldn't prove that you're not crazy is what I'm trying to say. Well, then that probably makes you crazy. But what if it's because you drove yourself or they drove you crazy from wrongfully locking you up? I don't know. That's like a scary thing. That's like a nightmare of mine.
Has come a long way. Number 7, the
not
Lisa Mouse.
Specifically, but that would suck ass.
Steve Jobs spoke at an Aspen, Colorado conference, and during his presentation, used the Apple Lisa mouse. He donated this mouse to be included in a time capsule that was being buried in the area, which was scheduled to be
Lisa
unearthed
mouse?
in the year 2000. But when the time came to open it, the location became ambiguous because of construction and landscaping taking place in the region. Luckily, the experts from the National Geographic series Diggers were on the case and managed to find the capsule in 2013.
Look,
bro,
I mean, I kind of let go.
Do you realize how fake this is? Look, they stuck the camera in the tube.
When the time came to open it, the location
to grab the stuff, like,
construction and landscaping taking place.
and it was all clean too.
Luckily, the experts from
You're telling me that claw didn't tear up the bag that it was in?
Managed to find the capsule in 2013.
Look, I mean, I kind of let
Oh,
go
bullshit.
because I
Maybe.
panicked like it was like a hot stove.
Couldn't be.
Panicking, Anakin, mannequin.
The footage aired in an episode the following year. Bet the firmware.
I don't know,
was
maybe it is
way
real.
out of date.
You can tell this is an original Lisa mouse
Wow.
because of the small button.
All right.
This is
Gotta be skeptical
Very
about
important
everything
piece of
nowadays.
Number 6.
A lot of
piece
it's
cake.
fake.
When the owners of a Niagara Falls, Ontario,
Ew,
funeral
a
home
piece of
uncovered
cake in a time
from
capsule?
1948 while doing renovations on their building,
Did it form into a
people were
life?
expecting these standard items inside. And sure, they did in fact find newspaper clippings, letters, and postcards, but there was one thing included that isn't exactly part of your basic time capsule formula: a piece of cake. They guessed that it might have been a slice of cake from the opening party for the building, but we can't know its origins for sure. Who's willing to take a bite? Number 5. a
Yo,
spooky
what did they?
kids message.
They probably opened it up and
Montgomery
was like,
Elementary School
the
in
first few
Albuquerque, New
people probably
Mexico
died
apparently
instantly.
had many of its classes bury time capsules in the years that it was open. One was found in 2016 and included messages from a 4th grade class from 1968.
My favorite TV
Yeah,
shows
I remember this. I'm pretty sure I was part of a class that did a time capsule. I don't quite remember if we buried it, but I remember I could have sworn I thought I took part in a time capsule thing. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass and we just learned about them, but we didn't actually do one. But why doesn't it? Well, I was about to say, why doesn't everyone do that? But then everything would be fucking buried and the planet would probably die from so much unnatural shit buried in its dirt. But I mean, I feel like it should be a little more common. Like, I don't know, like the city should get together and just fucking dump a bunch of cool shit and like newspapers and about the time, what's going on. And I don't know, what even would you drop? Because you want to drop some personal items too, right? Just so that people are like, yo, what is that little thing? Oh, that's a trying to look around for anything interesting. Nothing interesting that would be that people in the future would be like, yo, that's cool. But imagine that, basically. There's something cool in there. Like not an iPad, right? That shit seems like in the future they're gonna have iPads everywhere. No, it might actually just float in the air. Maybe it'll be like augmented
Many
reality.
of its classes bury time capsules in the years that it was
Yeah,
open.
throw a VR
One
set in
was
there.
found
Throw a virtual
2016
headset.
and included messages from a 4th grade class from 1968.
My favorite TV shows are Lost in Space and The Monkey, so that figures.
Oh yeah, shows, TV
Most included the
shows,
standard contents that you would expect kids to write about, but another was a little darker.
and movies,
Greg Lee
and
Youngman opened
music.
his note saying, quote, "I am dead," and went on to say that he was born in 1900, which is likely untrue unless he was a very old 4th grader. We're not sure if he was just presuming the capsule would be opened many years in the future, or if he was pretending to already be a ghost.
What if
Number
he
4, a
wasn't lying
Hiroshima
though?
fingernail. One of the world's most well-known time capsules contains something pretty
What if he really
strange.
was in
Osaka,
from
Japan
1900?
was home to a 1970 expo, and for the occasion, they built a very well-thought-out capsule intended to be opened 5,000
Damn, what if that kid was crazy
They
though?
also included a control
Wonder what happened with
capsule
that
was opened
child.
in the year 2000 to check on the state of the items inside.
I would
Each
not
capsule
ride
and
that dome.
control
Hold
capsule
the
was opened
hell
in the year
up. That looks scary. That looks like those fucking. Have you ever seen Spy Kids 2? I think that looks like the little thing that the juggler juggles.
2000 to check on the state of the items inside. Each capsule has over 2,000
Or was
items
that Spy
inside.
Kids 3? I don't
And
remember.
One of them is a fingernail from one of the survivors of the Hiroshima attack that took place
No, it
in
was two.
1945, decades before the capsule was made.
Fingernails?
Number 3.
That looked like a
is
Minecraft tree.
1945, and one of them is items inside. Each capsule has over 2,000 items inside, and one of them is
Damn,
a fingernail
2,000.
from one of the survivors of the Hiroshima attack that took place in 1945, decades before the capsule was made. Number 3. A
Is
Soviet
that a
message.
Minecraft tree?
On July 15, 2012, people uncovered a time capsule underneath the statue of Vladimir Lenin in Volhynia, Russia. It had been left there by a Soviet Komsomol youth organization on July 15, 1979.
Yo, some statues
and
are
was
so
coincidentally found exactly
big.
33 years later. It was apparently common practice to bury time
People
capsules
actually
under
build
statues
statues
during
still.
this period. The contents were addressed to the Socialist Society in 2024.
Yo,
so
imagine building statues back in like Greek times. They have such skill. Like they can do like clothing and make the cloth look so real on marble, and then they can even make the cloth look like wet against like, oh my god, dude, like sculptures and what would you call them, chiselers, or are they just sculptors? Back then, oh my god, don't even get me started, man. Some of the stuff they did is overlooked. You know, you kind of just look at it and you're like, oh, that's really cool. That's like a statue of so and so. But when you really look at it and remember that, oh yeah, all they had was a fucking piece of iron and a hammer, and you know, and some water, like, and then they probably spent fucking years, you know, like this was their entire job, was doing this. That's crazy. Humanity, man, we've done so much, and it's just overlooked. Everything is overlooked because we're just advancing, man. That shit is like, there's easier ways to do things now. You can just 3D print a sculpture of someone. It won't be big. Well, I mean, unless you make a big 3D printer.
One, expressing that surely future societies would
Which
be
I'm sure
better
we
off than
will.
the one in which the letter was written, which is open to debate. Number 2, a whole apartment. While most of the other entries on
How do
our
you
list
bury
follow
an
the
apartment in a
conventional
time
format of capsule, this one's entirely different. Belle Époque socialite Marthe
Oh,
de
maybe they
Florian
just
lived in an
didn't touch the
apartment
room
at 2
for.
Square La Bruyère in Paris until her death in 1939. Eventually, it was inherited by her granddaughter.
But they just
Solange
never
Bouillon,
touched
who
anything
fled
in there.
Paris during World War II and essentially left the apartment abandoned, though she continued to pay the bills until she died in 2010. The apartment was then uncovered after decades of disuse, and the entire thing was effectively preserved for
Disuse?
decades as a grand.
Is that the proper word? Disuse? Is that a word? I've never heard that word. Disuse. The disuse of that? Oh, that is, no, you wouldn't say that's full of disuse. That is disused. No? How would you say that apartment is not being used? Like that, right? It's a disused apartment. I've never heard that term before. Disused. Unused. I would say unused, right? When you say unused, did she say that wrong, or is that another term? Unused. I would say unused. Isn't that the word? Disused.
An opulent example of a time capsule. Thing was a fan. The apartment was then uncovered after decades of disuse, and the entire thing was effectively preserved
unuse,
for decades as a grand and opulent example of a time
Of
capsule.
not being used.
When I was in high school, we did a time capsule thing, but it never actually ended up being buried, and we got the things that we wrote back. But it's still kind of like a time capsule because I come across it every now and then, and it's really weird to read what you chose to write. Like, I'm not the same person.
Yeah, I still have some of my art from high school.
Have you ever participated in a time
And that shit,
capsule?
some of it
Did
I
you
don't
find
even
anything
remember
as crazy
drawing.
as
I'm
has
like,
been found on
dang.
this list?
I actually
We've
drew
got one
that.
more fascinating find to unearth at number 1.
So art
let's
is
go through
cool.
the honorable mentions, and then we'll crack open that time capsule. Original opera recordings from the Paris Opera House.
Whoa, someone was there and like recorded it live. That's what I'm guessing.
Coins belonging to Paul Revere.
A time capsule buried in 1795 by Paul
1795?
Revere and Samuel Adams was unearthed Thursday in Boston at the Massachusetts State House.
A vial of penicillin
Eesh.
from MIT.
There's something
Penicillin.
incredibly
I wonder if it made
interesting about
it
this
stronger
capsule.
being
And
stuck there.
that's the sign taped on the outside of the glass that says "Do not open till 2957." That's mind-boggling.
Before we
Why did
continue,
you open it?
2957. Outside this capsule. There's something incredibly interesting about this capsule, and that's the sign taped on the outside of the glass
That's it?
that says "Do not open."
They better not have opened it.
2957. That's mind-boggling.
Before we continue, be
I mean,
sure to
I
subscribe to our channel and ring
guess.
the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You
Oh.
have the option to be notified for
Gosh.
occasional videos. Capsules are made with an element of fun and excitement in mind. This one was created during one of the darkest times in human history.
what
Concentration
happened?
camp account. While most time
Oh,
capsules
shit.
are made with an element of fun and excitement in mind, this one was created during one of the darkest times in human history.
Just
Marcel
writing stuff
Nardati
down.
was a Jewish Greek national imprisoned at Auschwitz concentration camp, being forced to work as
That
one of
had to
the
have been
Sonderkommando,
so
who
scary
brought
and
their
like,
fellow captives to the gas chambers to be killed. He wrote of his harrowing experience and sealed the 13-page account in a thermos, which he buried underground near the chambers. Nardati was
Damn.
fortunate and survived Auschwitz.
that's a real
However,
time
his
capsule right there.
wasn't found until after his death.
That's a real time
Do you
capsule
agree
right
with our
there.
picks? Let us know in the comments.
Damn.
And hey, if you're a fan of the song,
Imagine that, man. That's the type of time capsules we need. That fool was held captive. He fucking wrote about what the hell's going on. I want to read that now. Yo, I might have to rewind this and see his name and look up, because I bet they have that all documented, and I bet it's free, right? Why would they keep that behind a paywall? That'd be some fucking lame shit, dude. Because he wrote it for the people to find, right? He buried it because he obviously knew what happened, so he buried it for people to find. And she said he made it out, but they didn't find it until after his death. So obviously they must not have been looking while he was alive. Damn, that's crazy, dude. I wonder what he went through and what he had to see. Like, that must have been so terrifying and awful. Time capsules, though, very interesting. Hopefully they find more. That's crazy.